everyone. Today, I, Dr. Durdana Oves, from Department of Commerce, the Bhopal School of Social Sciences, will be discussing about the topic conflict. In this video module, we are going to discuss the definition, characteristics, changing views, types, causes of conflicts and the process of conflict. Conflict is an everyday word that we usually use every day. Conflicts are natural in all walks of life, both at home also and at workplace. It is ever present, and as such we can say it is both charming as well as maddening. When we talk about conflict in the organizational sense, it is a complex and big subject because it affects the organizational life and it is quite common among workforce. Call it collision, disagreement or argument. But conflict is a psychological and behavioral reaction to a perception, or rather say a misconception. Miss a deadline and you are likely to face a conflict. Argue with a colleague and you will end up in conflict, or disagree with a fellow manager and you are up for a conflict. Anyway, it is a psychological and behavioral reaction. Simply putting, it is a difference of opinion. This difference of opinion leads to a state of opposition between ideas, interests and persons. Conflict is a very inevitable part of life. Why? Because each one of us possess our own opinion, ideas and set of belief. And when we enter an organization, we enter with a set of our own ideas, opinions and belief. As such, we have different ways of looking at things. These different ways of looking at things make us do things in one way or the other which we feel is right. As such, it influences our actions and decisions. This way of acting based on our perception of right and wrong are breeding grounds for conflict. As such, conflict is inevitable part of our life, and which can be between individuals or within individual or between groups. As such, conflict is a process where perception, real or otherwise, leads to disruption of desirable state of harmony and stability in an interdependent world. So, can we say it is different from competition? Yes, it is different from competition. As S.P. Robbins puts it, conflict is a process in which efforts are purposefully made by a person or unit or group to block another, that results in frustrating the attainment of others' goals or furthering away of his or her interest. As such, in conflict, there is a purposeful behavior, whereas in competition, one wants to excel from the other. Having said so, let us sum up the characteristics of conflict. Conflict is inevitable part of life, as we have discussed. As such, it becomes a normal part of life. Now, this conflict arises due to perception about an idea or an individual. This perception can be a misconception too, which is faced by an opposition. Until and unless there is an opposition, we cannot characterize it as conflict. As such, conflict is a process which is characterized by the interdependence and interaction of ideas and individuals. So, we can say that every individual is inflicted with conflict, and hence conflict is not unidimensional. Now, let me ask you, what do you think, is conflict good or bad? Well, there are changing views regarding this concept. Traditionally, it was viewed that conflict is not good for an organization, rather it is harmful for an organization and is due to poor communication or lack of openness or failure to respond to the needs of employees. Then came the human relations view of conflict, which believed that conflict is a natural and inevitable part of life. And then the recent view, or the interactionist view, regards conflict as not only a positive force but also essential force within an organization. Having following this concept, can we say that conflict leads to search for solutions and increase efficiency? We know that disagreements between individuals or group within an organization have an impact on the overall functioning of the organization. But even the people who follow interaction view regard this, that the effect of conflict will determine whether it is good or bad. If it is good, then only it will lead to search for solution and increase efficiency. This good type of conflict is called as functional conflict. And the bad type of conflict is called as the dysfunctional conflict. So what is functional conflict? Functional conflict is that type of conflict which supports the organizational goals, which is characterized by differences of opinion but which results to finding of solutions. Whereas dysfunctional conflict results in abrupting the organizational flow or hinders in the attainment of goals. When there is functional conflict, it leads to positive effects in the organizations. What are these positive effects? That is release of tension, identification of weakness. It instills creativity and innovation within the organization. It also increases group cohesiveness. It puts up challenges for the organizations, the people within the organizations, and lays foundation for organizational development. It also stimulates change. Whereas when the conflict is not so productive, or rather say dysfunctional conflict, what happens? It leads to wastage of resources, where individuals give priority to their goals rather than the organizational goals. Also, this leads to weakening of the organization, which results in distrust, discontentment, tension, and sometimes resignation of qualified individuals. So what are these causes of conflict? Well, we can divide these causes into general causes and workplace causes. The general causes are the personal clashes, the ego clashes, or the stress, the tension, the excessive workload that an individual faces, the misunderstandings, the inconsistency in behavior, the competition for resources that is generally prevailing in the organization, or the cultural differences that one comes along, or the differences in belief, value system, and so on. Whereas the workplace causes of conflicts are usually the authority issues, the lack of cooperation or coordination, the lack of recognition that is being given, or the negative attitude of people, or inner conflicts, or professional disrespect, inconsistency, or passive and aggressive behavior, ambiguous words or commands that is being given, or maybe differences over the method or style that one feels is right or wrong, or the differences in values and goals. As we have discussed that conflict is a process, let us see what are the stages of conflict. Louis R. Pondy has given 5 stages of this conflict process. Stage 1 is the potential opposition or incompatibility stage. This is also called as latent conflict or prelude to conflict. Here, the conflict does not start, but it provides breeding ground for such conditions or situations which can potentially lead to conflicts. It provides the necessary antecedents or conditions for conflict in organization. Here, participants only anticipate conflict. The second stage is cognition and personalization, which is also called as perceived conflict, and second point is felt conflict. Perceived conflict is there when parties to the conflict are aware that some situation is there which can adverse me negatively. That is just at the perception level. But when parties to the conflict start attaching emotions to their position and start feeling that I will be harmed more, then it is called as felt conflict. The third stage is intentions, or the stage where individuals decide how they are going to behave. When individuals decide how they are going to react to the opposite party to the conflict, they have 2 major things in mind: how much I should cooperate or how much I should be assertive. These 2 things become the basis of selecting a strategy. These strategies can be of 5 types. When an individual decides that I will be highly assertive and I will not go for cooperation, then it is a state of competition. When an individual decides that no, I am going to be competitive as well as I will also cooperate, then it is a state of collaboration where it is a win-win situation for both the parties. But when an individual decides that I will not go for competition and neither will I cooperate, that is called as the avoidance or withdrawal strategy. But if an individual decides that okay, I am going to cooperate a lot, I am going to accommodate for the other party's goals also, and I am not going to go for competition, it is called as the accommodation strategies. And when both decide that okay, I am not going for competitiveness also, high level and high level of cooperation, then it is called as a compromise state. These are the 5 strategies which becomes the basis of an individual's identification of how I am going to behave. This leads us to the 4th stage, that is the behavior. This is called as the manifest conflict. It is this stage where the conflict comes into open, where parties to the conflict openly show their behavior, and it can take the form of open aggression or apathy or withdrawal, which is clearly visible by the opposite party. Next is the 5th stage, that is outcome. This is the stage where the behavior's impact is being shown on the organizational goals, and here it can be called as the functional conflict or dysfunctional conflict. So, what do you think, in which stage would it be easier to resolve conflict? Will it be stage 1, latent conflict, or the last stage? Well, as we move on from one stage to another, it becomes more difficult for an organization, a leader or other individuals to resolve the conflict. So, it is better to tackle the conflict in the initial stages itself. That was all for this topic. We will be seeing the rest of the topic in the next module. Have a nice day ahead.